Welcome back to another episode of A Record of My Father. What are we talking about today? End of life. So what is that what
Yeah, I think that's it. I think mine's already ended. So what the hell?
the
Let's start with somebody
happy-go-lucky
else's.
the happy-go-lucky topics
Yeah,
of today?
I think it's well. The thing is, we were sitting here kicking it around, and it's like, well, when you think about it, I think that a lot of people do not communicate clearly what they want. I mean, I've been through a number of relatives that have died, and I don't know exactly what they would have expected of me.
Mm.
And by the time I knew they were going to die, it was sort of too late to ask them, you know? So I think it would be a really cool thing to do that, you and I have talked about my demise or mom's demise or
Yeah, we
our
have.
demise and all that. You kind of know where everything is. And I think that that's very, very, very important because in a lot of like in my younger days when my parents passed, they were completely clueless as to what they should do. There is no simple thing. My wife's going through it right now with her father died, and there's things that are scattered,
Well,
and
I think what
there's
happens
issues.
too very often is that you have somebody that is not mentally well, and then you have people that come in and try to take advantage of them, or they
Oh yeah.
change their to-dos around
Well, they want to
because
make it their wishes and not
yeah.
the person who died. You
Yeah, I
know.
remember seeing a number of things that where they would take the person around to banks or something like that
Oh
and
yeah, yeah,
cash
yeah.
out.
That was
Yeah, it's
another one. That was another one
crazy.
where people were
Yeah.
getting people to sign over stuff, and
Yeah,
you hear
exactly.
about this all the time. And I have friends
Mhm.
where their parents, the one of the siblings moved in with the parents and basically emptied out their accounts doing stuff
Nice.
and then left, moved in to take care of them and then left. And it's like in the end, but that's like, I mean, taking advantage of your parents, like one of your siblings can or cannot do that, or somebody can come in and do
Mm.
the same thing. I think that's sort of luck of the draw, and whether or not your parents are going to trust you to come in and say, "Hey, quit being a dumbass." You know what I mean?
No,
I
exactly.
I guess. I guess if you have anything, or if you don't have anything, is this person there for another, unscrupulous reason, or is it
Yeah.
just, as a lot of times it's old people don't have anybody, and that's love.
No, I think so
And
as
so
well.
they reach out to each other and they lean on each other and they depend on each other and they die and one of them is just left there taking care of it. So and that's going to happen a lot coming up.
Hmm.
We are in a huge population where there's a metric shit ton of old people going to pop off in the next 30 years, and you guys are going to be there with a snow shovel scooping up all the yuck. And maybe that's the that
Well,
is that
the
a
crematoriums are going
is
to be
that you got a
filling the
visual there?
skies. They're going to be filling. It's
Yeah,
going to
we're
be
gonna get some
gray,
crematoriums in the
gray
sky.
clouds.
Yeah, gray
You
clouds,
want
the gray clouds of old people. Oh God,
you want
this
to be
is
cremated, right? Is that
yeah, yeah.
this
I
thing?
I'm fine with that. I
I
don't. I mean, I don't really care, but I for me, it doesn't really matter. I
You said
mean,
funeral in
I
the
think
Catholic
cremating's
Church as
fine.
well? Funeral in the
I don't.
Catholic Church.
I am in opposition to religion in general, so I don't want to be. I don't believe that we need to find some person that's religious to speak for me who's never known me.
Yeah.
If there is
I
somebody
always
that's
found that weird at funerals.
there's many, many, many of people that I'm associated with that are friends that are acquaintances that are religious, and if they wanted to say something, well, have at it, and blessed be whatever and all that other kind of. I mean, I have relatives, direct relatives that are religious, and if they want to say something, fine, I don't care. I mean,
Hmm.
if that would
If it
solve
makes
them
them
because
happy, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
because the funeral's not, frankly, the funeral's not for me, dude. I don't care at that point.
You don't
It's
think
for
you'll be
everybody
watching it?
living.
You don't think you'll be watching it like a spooky ghost man?
No, I don't,
No.
I will be at that point. I will be partial. What do you call it?
Ethereal or something. So what you're thinking?
Rodent food.
Oh, that's kind of
You're going to break
ethereal.
down eventually, but with the formaldehyde, I'm not sure if you're going to break down fast enough to where you could actually, and then are you going to help plants? Are you going to kill plants? I don't know.
I never understood
So
the whole aspect of when the minister like goes up and he's talking and he's oh they're forgiven in the eyes of God, and God has blessed them with this great experience of being fucking dead. And it's just like it's
Oh
just
yeah,
it's really it's funny.
it
It's
seems
funny.
odd.
It's very masturbatorial to me. I don't know. It's
Yeah,
very yeah, it's almost overtly ridiculous with the
well,
past couple
especially if they don't
funerals I've
know him.
been to. Yeah.
Well, I think
Exactly.
it's
They don't.
more.
They never do. Yeah.
Well, they're there to calm that. Well, no, and a lot of times they do. A lot of times
Really?
it's a private. Yeah,
Oh, it's the
because
church
if
that they used to
if
go
you're
to. Okay, yeah.
it could be that, or if your mother or father goes into hospice, a lot of times there's priests there, or doctor, or rabbis, or whatever other type of thing that you call them. They will come in. They're there. They're
Yeah.
they're they're, they're praying on the week at the end, and they will create a dialogue and talk about, what about your life, and they'll learn about you, and then they will speak, and that is kind of like, I think that's kind of cool, because they actually kind of learn something about you, and they're saying something. But I don't know why that's more important than you.
They're trying to get that
you you
15% to tithe over. That's what they
you have talked to me and known me since you were born. My wife has talked to me and known me since she was 29, and she's now 64. My sister has known me for, I'm 64 and a bit. She's known me all those years. My older brother has known me all those years. Those people know more of my idiosyncrasies and weirds. My in-laws, they know me much better. I mean, when you think about the Travis and Dina and all, they know me more than like anybody that I'd make as an acquaintance on my deathbed, which seems kind of odd that I would let that person speak for me when in reality, maybe because they're a better speaker, I don't know, but it would seem to me that the best thing from my perspective is to have people that knew you uh prepare something, even if it's paragraph, or even if it's he was a piece of shite. I mean, I don't care. I mean, get it out, because at that point, uh I don't matter. It really matters the people that are still living. It's their loss, their feeling of loss, or their feeling of relief. I mean, sadly, you do no. I mean, you do in horrible
will.
situations where you hate somebody and they die, and you're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess, I don't really have that level of hate for anybody. I have that level of, yeah, hope the prick hits a brick wall or something. Yeah, that, but not the whole thing. But there's also like people that you see that die very slowly
Oh, yeah, the suffering.
over years, and you
Suffering is
say to
horrible.
yourself like, well, this is ugly and horrible, and that to me, and I've seen it, so it's not pretty. And for me, I don't want that. If I get into, and that's the reason that we've had the discussions we had, and that's why we're talking about end of life discussions. And for me, on record, if I get into being mentally incapacitated, I want to be put down like a dead rabbit, man. Boom, just go.
And that's
Take
the
me out in
reason
the
why we're
woods.
recording this episode,
Yeah,
is
I
so
think
that I
that's a
can
I
show
think
this is
that's very,
proof.
very good.
Yeah.
I am, I don't believe that once I become a puddinhead that there's any reason to like I don't get it.
I think it's
I
almost
don't
worse for the
understand it.
people around them too. They're
Yeah, it's
mentally
it
unstable.
well
Yeah.
because now I remember relatives that were very close to me and I loved very deeply, but I remember them in a different light. I don't remember, and I've told you this before, like my mother who went through Alzheimer's, I
Horrendous.
remember
Yeah.
more of her being in a wheelchair with, not unable to speak, did not know us, just looked off in the distance. Then I remember her being the happy go lucky go get 'em type of, you know, whatever person. And I'm like, okay, well that's not the memory I want to leave with you. I don't want to leave with you. I don't want that. I don't think that's going to make you grow.
Isn't
I
that
just
weird how the memory works? Is that you remember the worst times
isn't that
imaginable, but
I
you don't
remember
remember the good times.
I
Isn't that
do.
strange?
I do.
Oh,
I
you do?
do.
No, but
I
not
do.
as much. I don't think they're
I have some
highlighted as
very,
much.
very
Yeah.
visually strong memories. I mean, I can remember one, if I just think about it for 2 seconds, a minute, my mother pulling in. It's 5:30. She got off work. She worked at NTIS. She comes in. She has a blue 68 custom Ford. It's probably about 6 months old. First new car she ever bought. Uh, and she comes in and she comes to the door. She goes, "There's something under the front seat. I need you to get it." She's got a big smile on her face. So my mom was tall and she always wore a tall hat. So she looked a lot taller, So you're like, holy crap.
Like Abraham
Anyway,
Lincoln.
yeah. And she just had a big smile on her face. So I knew it wasn't something that was going to kill me. And so, and I knew I didn't do anything wrong because, you anticipate in the olden days when you did shit wrong, your parents would get you sinisterly, but she didn't. So I went out there and I, I, there was nothing. I go to the rear, it was a two-door, and I open up the big door of the passenger side, and I reach under there and I grab something furry. And it goes, eep. And it scared the hell out of me, And then I checked a little more and I kind of like touched it and it was furry and it was licking my hand. And then I got it out and it was a little puppy. And to me, I mean, I remember that dog, Floppy, and that was my first visual. That to me, and the look on my mother's face was she had bought extreme joy to her children. It was just, we were all in awe. And also, and when you're a parent and you don't know this yet, but if you do something that makes your kids just beam, especially because I had not the most wonderful, we didn't have the wonderful all the time, good, beautiful, perfect, no eating the shit pie upbringing. But so when that happened, it was not a normal thing to see a happy, smiling, loving family together. And this was one of those times, and it was amazing. So I remember that.
I would say that was
I
almost an
remember
abnormality for your family.
Yeah.
Then. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I can go the other way, and then I can tell you the story about but we don't need to go there.
No, we
This is
don't.
about end of life. This is not about the ugly things that
Live in the shadows.
Yeah. Hey, you clean you clean the mashed potatoes out of the air conditioner. I ain't doing that.
Oh jeez.
Okay.
Oh jeez.
As we digress.
You know what I always
doing that.
wondered? You know what I always wondered too is why isn't assisted suicide more legalized across the country? And I think it's because the healthcare industry would lose millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see.
I think that's why.
When you go there and well, the thing is, guess what?
What?
Hey, you're watching me die. Guess what? I come up to you and somebody else comes up to you and goes, "Hey, Zach, you got a lot of money, don't you? We can let him live another month, 2 months, 3 months. Wouldn't that be cool?" And you're thinking like, I'm only going to see him for 3 more months. I can double his time on Earth. He'll be here 6 months. That's cool. They don't tell you
selfish reasons. Yeah.
Well, right. Because it's end of life. And say you see me twice a year and then you're like seeing me all the time. And then you're like, wow. I got to make up for all that time I didn't see him when I was having kids and all this other kind of happy horse shit and living my own freaking life, and now I'm feeling guilty. So now I want to keep him alive, and who in the heck can look at somebody and say, yeah, you should kill him. I think
it's
that
is a very
is a hard,
strong person to do that.
Yeah, I just think it's a hard thing. But also you have to know that, you have to know that I want that.
Oh, yes, I think. You've been telling me since I was 7, I think.
Yeah, that's why we built the garage so you could take me in there and cut the car on and let me
When I was 7 years old, you're like, when I get Alzheimer's, you have to fucking kill me. Oh, okay, all right.
Child abuse, man. Child abuse.
With that
That's what it
weak
is.
kid neck, you're just nodding there.
Yeah. He's like, no. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and you've been trying it since you were 12. You're like, hey, Dad, why don't you go out in the car and go out and start the car up, and I'll be out there to drive you somewhere. And I'm like, you don't have a license. Oh, okay. Maybe not. Now's not the time. Then
let me just turn the car.
let me talk to you for. I'll talk to you in a couple of months. So it became a laughing thing, but also it'll be hard, and it's going to be a hard thing to do. But it's going to be it. I honestly believe that it'll be the best for all parties. I think it will be, and it's my choice. Okay.
Yeah.
Mine. I truly think it's mine. But the only problem is that once you go off the road to Puddinville, then you can't make that decision to whack yourself. So you're like you're in a bad situation, you know. But I mean, we're talking on the one thing. We also have to remember that any end of life conversation you have with any of your family, you need to make sure that you know where the hell everything is.
Oh, all the
There's
assets. Yeah.
got to be there's got
Everything.
to be one place for everything. There's got to be a safety deposit box. There's got to be one account you log on to. I mean, we have one account that you log on to and it has all the other information. I mean, and there's, here I can give everybody the passwords if they want, but and then we have it on paper, which is,
I can't believe there are people out there that don't consolidate, and
well,
that when they die,
I know many that do,
it's
and
just
I
up in the
know,
air. It's
well,
a
yeah, I
little.
mean, I have a number of accounts out there that if I didn't tell you,
Oh, I'd have no idea. Yeah,
they would continue to converse with me on my email address that you wouldn't have access to.
that's the most important
And
thing, I think.
then
Yeah.
they'd be like, oh, I guess you just don't care. And then they would have it missing. I can't imagine that they'd come hunting for you, family members.
No, no,
No, I mean, would a mutual fund do that? I doubt it.
no way. I doubt it.
That's why there's this. I mean, Valerie she was looking when she was looking at assets and stuff for she's dealing with that, now
Yeah.
when you're looking for things, and she found that she was owed money. She found she's found a old asset that she was owed $44, and she just submitted a little form and got it. So, and
No.
it's like one of
Wow.
these Virginia has a website where you can go and you can look up your name and see if and it's like any money that you're owed from any bank that you left $2 in. Like you leave $5 in a bank and they don't have enough fees to kill it. Because that's what they used to do is they raise the fees up and they just charge fees until you had no money in the account, and then it'd be a dead account, you
Mm.
know. But if you had enough money in it to continue to earn interest, then you're like, and they can't raise the fees after it happened. All that. Otherwise, they just say, "Hey, inactivity on an account for 6 months means we charge you the full amount of any amount left over." And that would be what the banks would like to do. But I think the some of the people that are watching the rest of us would fight against that.
I'm surprised we haven't let them do that, considering the way that we've treated the banks in this country for the longest time.
Yeah, we pretty much
It's kind of surprising.
it's well, the reason we treat them that way is because they pay to be treated that way. And the weird thing is they pay to be treated that way with our money. And that's what's so funny. It's just like if you start to really look at the system and the whole situation, it's like, wow, we put money in, we give them, we grow them. They take that money, they lobby to charge us more money to get to our money that they gave us, that we gave to them to make more money for us. And what they do is they use our money to make more money for them. And you're just like, well, that seems kind of
The circular of stepping on
Yeah.
toes, the cyclical
Yeah.
process.
I mean, that's a really simple explanation of some of the things that go on. I mean, and obviously they're not all that way, but advantages are taken when they're given.
No,
And
exactly.
yeah.
Before the end of
But-
your life, what are some things you want to accomplish? What's left?
Oh, I don't know.
What's left to do? What's left to
Well-
do? That's what I'm curious about.
Oh God, the list was very, very long. That'd be a whole other episode if we talked about legacy.
Ooh, that could be the next one.
Oh, or what do I
Legacy
wanna
is
do?
different than what you
Yeah,
wanna
that's right.
do.
That's what I want to leave behind. What I want to do. I think that if you were to pose the question, you say, "Hey, you got terminal blah 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 today,"
Mhm.
then I would have to make all of my, I got a list of like 30 different places, 40 different places that I want to go at any given time.
Mm.
And I would have to shrink that really, really quickly.
What's number one next? What's
I mean, for me, I feel like
is it activities or is it just going to places?
I think for me, the very best activity ever is walking through the woods, sadly by myself. You know,
Meditative. Yeah,
that to me
I
is
enjoy
oh,
that.
when
I enjoy
I
that.
and frankly, it's actually better when I take the dogs because then I don't seem so creepy. So I mean, that's why I really like the
Old
dogs.
man in the woods.
Well, yeah, it's weird, you know. You got some old guy walking along,
And you
and then you
always
know,
smile at everybody.
yeah, I
And
smile and I say hi, and everybody's like, "Holy
ugh,
shit, he's creepy," you know. And I'm like, "That's," but I do that in New York, you know, and it's like, whatever, you know. You do it in Japan, and they're like, they just look at you, and you know what I
shivering.
do? I smile.
I started
Totally,
doing that, and it's
totally
funny to
blows your
see
head
the
apart. Yeah,
shift in people's faces
yeah.
when you look at them. They're confused, and they're like, "Oh, this is actually a
He's
kind human
genuinely a
being."
nice person. Well, it's not so. It isn't
It's
the
not
end of the
difficult.
earth to be decent and nice to people.
There's also a great introversion that's been going on for the past 10 years, I feel
Oh
like, where
God,
people have just been going inside themselves, especially I mean in our last episode we talked about it to some degree of
COVID.
COVID, yeah, and
Yeah,
how
pandemics.
people just kind of retreated into their own minds for a long
Yeah,
time. And I still think that they're doing that, and it's with the phone and it's with everything like
I
that.
think yeah, it's so weird to go out to dinner and see four people at a table and they're all on their phones at the
That
same
bothers me.
time.
That
You
bothers
know,
me.
and we do it too. I'm not
I
saying,
never do it. I'm
hey,
perfect.
I'm not. I don't do it. I mean the thing that you point out many times. We will watch a movie and we'll have a phone there. We'll be looking at our phone
I
while we're
don't
watching the
understand
movie.
that. That kills
That's
me.
wacko. Well, they see that's why I like to go to the theater because then it's very much something I wouldn't do. I
That's
cut
an
my phone off.
experience. Yeah.
I cut my phone off. So it's like I'm learning that it's not a good thing to do. And there's literally nothing on the phone, and there's no reason for me ever to be staring at it when I'm trying to watch a 30-minute show. It's just dumb. It's just dumb.
There's
It's
nothing of
just something that's
importance
blinking at
that's
me that's making me, you know, I'm a pudding head.
that's why I think 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when I was going to the gym, I just leave the phone at home. I just
Yeah.
leave it at home when I go to the gym
Well, I
because
know people in
it's like,
business
why do I
meetings.
even need? Realistically, if there's an
Yeah.
emergency, there's nothing I'm going to be able to do anyway. So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it
20
doesn't
minutes earlier
matter.
isn't going to make any difference.
One
No.
hour difference. Yeah, I mean,
No.
if the house is on
No.
fire, okay. But at that point, the house is on fire. What am I going to have bucket of water?
Well, hopefully somebody's already called
You would hope so.
the
If I
fire
find out
dudes.
from somebody calling me, that means the house has been on fire for a while.
Means that, and also it means that, yeah. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
whether or not you hear about a dead relative, you know, if
an
your
hour or
parents
so
and stuff,
later.
yeah, an hour later, or maybe you see it on the news instead of, you know, hey, oh my God, that looks like my dad's head. Oh, wow, it is. Ah, that would be horrible.
Yeah, displacing the phone, putting it somewhere else in the house has been a big thing
Yeah.
for me in the past couple of
Yeah.
years because it's
Why?
so addictive. It's so
Yeah.
incredibly addictive. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Well, it makes you like when you go to bed at night.
Yeah, I know.
I
I'll
know people
roll
that go
around.
up at like 9 and they're like, okay, I leave my phone downstairs. How you do that? It's like, well, because it makes me stay awake.
Yeah,
I'm like,
me as well.
yeah. So they're like, but you're going to bed.
That's why I don't look at
So what
an
do you
hour
mean?
before I go to sleep.
Yeah.
I'll read for an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours or
Well, you're an
whatever.
avid reader.
Well, I
And
only have in the past 3 years though, 3 or 4 years, and I haven't been. I was never an avid reader before that.
so this is our sidetrack off of what are
Well,
those
it's a
things you would
podcast
do?
for a reason, right? So we
Well,
can just
I think if you do,
ramble.
yeah, well, the ramble to me is to jump back to the topic and say, because I'm sitting here thinking in the background right now, if you said you have, oh my gosh, I got two places I absolutely positively want to go to, no
Where?
matter what. Well, maybe three. I want to go to Lhasa,
Where's that?
which is in Tibet,
Oh, it's
which
Tibet.
we
Okay.
are going to go in September. I want to go to the North Pole. I absolutely want to go to the North Pole. I want to fly. I know
Why do
it's
you want
only
to
an
go to the
hour.
North?
I know
What
we're just
is
going to sit
the?
there.
Is it just to say you went there, or is it for what reason?
No, it's just it's very weird
Because isn't it
that I
the
love the
Arctic? There's
idea of walking
nothing.
on the tundra. You get
Okay.
close to it, and then you drive there, and then I mean, then you fly to a camp, and then you helicopter to the final place. That's like an hour and a half or something like that. Bang, and
Gotcha.
then
Okay. Yeah. I'm like
you're
trying to think about it
glacier walking
logistically.
around, and that's that. And you're only there for like an hour and a half, and it takes you like a week to get there, or 5 days, or whatever. Anyway, I want to do that, and it's just
Oh, and
one of
there's the
those
pin
things that
too, right? The dot, the red dot with the pin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
That
cool. That'd be cool to touch.
that and then the other thing is I want to see the pyramids. I haven't seen the pyramids.
I would love to do
You
that as
know.
well.
I mean, I kind of want to go to Madagascar, but it's like I'm really kind of torn because it's so this is weird that I wouldn't go in all different places that it's it's so bad there now,
Hmm.
you know. And I just I love the idea of going and seeing ancient things and walking where those have walked before. That to me is when we were out west and we were and sitting on the porch there and realizing that Clark Gable sat in the same place I sat, you know, just that kind of thing. When I went to France or no, Venice, and we went to the little hole in the wall bar that Hemingway used to go to and sat on the same stool. That was sort of like, you know, I could sit there and stop for a moment and think that this great writer was here at this point.
Isn't that
When I
weird?
was
Yeah.
in
Crazy.
when I was in Africa and we went to Vic Falls, we went to where Livingston was, you know, and when
Who's
I mean, he's just
Livingston?
some dude. Anyway, uh, uh,
Oh yeah, I was
African
wondering who was
explorer,
that?
uh, uh, and I believe I went there. There is, you know, it's sort of like the Machu Picchu and why I went to Kilimanjaro and climb Fuji and all the different things. It's sort of like I wanted to go to a place that was that made me feel uh like I've actually accomplished something, even though it was
Invigorated.
nothing more than a whole bunch of air travel and moving around and all that.
It is invigorating though, going somewhere
And then just like
and doing. Yeah, I
a,
know what you're saying.
something in your mind, it feeds me in a different way. And also, I always try to learn something, you know. Well, it's kind of hard to say that. It's like, yeah, I guess you do when you do that, but it would be more amplified if I would be dying because you would want to be, you know, I would think that all of my senses would sort of, hopefully they wouldn't be erased, but or wiped out or messed up, you know, whatever our situation is. That would be a big thing. But
Yeah,
you know, that's provided that you get notice.
I think
You
you
know,
learn no matter what when you
yeah, a
travel.
lot of people don't.
You
A lot
don't
of
have
people
to
don't get
try.
notice. You know,
There's no
and
trying to learn anything.
like
You
you
just
and I,
do.
like we end this episode. I go downstairs, I have a heart attack, I'm dead.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's why we're doing this
Yeah, there's no well, shit.
because
You know,
death is such a random thing. You never know.
you could. I would think that you would make a little comedy skit about how he didn't get to do those three things he really wanted
Of course,
to
I would do
do.
that.
You have to play this in the back. That would be just that would be so wrong that I would love it.
We would have to do. Yeah, I'd have to do something like
I'm
that.
here. The only reason I'm here is to tell you what he didn't get to do.
I think the
And this is
production value would go up in the podcast too, because you would no longer be here, and then I wouldn't have to
Yeah.
pay you as much.
Oh my
Right?
God, yeah,
You
that's
wouldn't get the
right.
royalties that you would
Hold
get.
it. I don't get fucking severance if I die?
No, sorry. I
Oh.
was thinking about doing the severance package, but I don't
Okay,
know.
we're gonna have
How
to
would
hire
that
an
work?
attorney. You'll be hearing from my lawyer.
Oh no,
Lawyers. It's better lawyers than lawyers. Lawyers.
that always
Yeah.
sounds more threatening.
Attorneys.
But a plural.
Attorneys. That's more serious. Attorneys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, be happy. I love attorneys, and people always talk. They make all the lawyer jokes, and I would say that this thing you're looking at, this house you're looking at, that house over there you're looking at, all the stuff that we do, probably 2/3 of it have been paid for by law firms indirectly, and then they have paid for it because they did client work for multinational companies.
What sounds
That's
more
it.
threatening, lawyers or just attorney with no plural?
Attorney.
Yeah, right,
Right.
it does.
I think
Oh,
attorney
it does
sounds
sound way more threatening.
How about my attorney with a gun?
Okay, that's way worse. What
Yeah.
about attorney?
You'll be hearing
with,
from my attorney with a gun.
and he has a briefcase, or she,
Yeah.
she has a briefcase.
Yeah.
I think that's double threatening. The briefcase to me. Oh,
My attorney
gosh.
is a gorilla. No, that's not right. Anyway, we were talking about the end, and I got to say, like, this is good. I think this gives some key points when you think about it. Is you got to have a centralized place where you have everything that you've ever had. You got to have a centralized plan. Of course, you got to have a will and do not or please resuscitate little thingy. What do they call them? DNRs. You got to have that kind of documentation, and every law firm will tell you how to have that. But you have to have all of your bank accounts, all of your stuff in one place.
I think it's good to have a
Makes-
person that
Yeah, or you can have a person,
yeah.
or you can have a person that has all that information.
that also
in
has
one
a
place.
briefcase.
Yeah, that also has a briefcase. Those would be some of the key points that you would want to have, and also some little paragraph or some little verbal discussion that said, "Hey, what is this asshole? How does he want to be plugged into the ground? Does he want to be, shot out of a cannon and spread over a big village and let his stinky ashes fall down on them?" Or
I'd always love that. Hunter
Well,
S.
see, that's what
Thompson
I
being
always
shot out of a
thought.
cannon.
For me, what would be cool is if I got nuked, burned, fired up, and then all my
Deep fried.
ashes, when you went traveling to different locations, that you would just drop them.
Yeah.
And that to me would
Oh,
be
I've
like,
thought about
oh,
that. I
I'm
definitely
gonna leave a little bit of. I'm gonna be a little bit of the old man here. For me, that would be wow. That would be great. I would love that.
It's like the Malcolm in the Middle episode where they go to Burning Man.
You know, it'd be even
and
better.
they shoot
But
the
go ahead.
ashes out of a squirt gun
Yeah.
at people.
Oh,
and they
wow.
just get soaked in them.
I would do that. But I was saying that for me in particular, it would be cool if every location, like distant place that you traveled to, that you left a little bit of me in the bathroom.
I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna say that.
That would be like,
knew it.
hey, see that dirt on the floor over there? Yeah, that's my
You want to know why I knew you were gonna say that? Is because I was gonna say that.
Oh God. It's just
Would it be
horrible.
the top of
That's
the
just
tank?
horrible.
Would it be the top of the tank or would it be the bottom?
I don't, I would leave that up to you, but I think the whole idea is, you could write my name on the wall in ashes or something. That'd be funny.
I think top tank.
Bill was here.
Top tank in like a dime bag.
Yeah.
Like a little just taped to the inside. And I go back
Okay.
10 years later and I'd see if they were still there. That'd be cool.
They had one of those at Kilimanjaro on the second
they had a bathroom?
Yeah. They had a bathroom that you sat on, and it had a tank in the back, but everything was frozen and the water wasn't running, and it was
you got to do sawdust at that altitude, I would think.
No, they had some artesian spring or something that worked, and
Really?
as long as the wasn't frozen, but the floor was like covered in water and it was filthy.
It's like a skating rink.
Well, it wasn't the worst I've ever been in, though. It was bad, but I've been in.
The worst I've ever been is Penn Station. Gosh.
Oh, that was bad. Penn Station? Yeah. Oh God. Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. The guy on heroin next to me that was coming down and he was sick.
Yeah.
And the water was about an inch, about this deep. And I was wearing my nice loafers and my suit and I had to go potty. And he was next to me hurling his guts out. And I'm just like, I got to go potty. I mean, I had to, and there was no other place. And it was like, you got to go. You just deal with it. And he's in there dying and he's splashing around. And I thought, I don't know what it was.
It's like that train spotting scene when the guy goes.
It reminded me of that, but it was before Train Spotting, like long before.
Oh, it
was
was
like
before
94 or 95.
When did Train Spotting come out? Like 97?
Yeah, I don't know.
98? I don't know.
Like that.
So
crazy.
Yeah. Good movie though.
Yeah.
Good movie. Good movie.
Wow.
No, this
is fun. We
good conversation.
What other points can you think that we could have missed that you would want to know from me or your mother about our end of life thing?
I think I already kind of knew to some degree that you were not of a religious background per se. I knew that. I knew that much. I knew that you wanted to be deep fried as well, and same with her. I know that she wants to be deep fried, and I know that. But I think we pretty much nailed it. I think my question that I proposed earlier about what you want to accomplish before the end is also something that we haven't really talked about.
Yeah, we have to put that. We'll put that in the legacy, like what you want to leave behind, but what do you want to accomplish? Once you find out. I mean, I think about what I want to accomplish from now until when I'm dead, which I don't know how long that is. It's like that's a good thing. That I have to give it a thought.
Mm-hmm.
From now until when you're, pushing up daisies. It's like, what do you want? What's your
it's not
what
easy
is
to
your
think about.
thing? Yeah.
It's not easy to think about it.
No, it isn't. It isn't because it's sort of like
something to sit on.
Well, I want to make people happy. I thrive on that.
That's always what I've wanted to do,
Yeah.
to make people smile, because
Yeah.
that
I
gives
mean,
me inherent joy,
yeah, it's
right?
and help people that need help. And and whether it be financial or otherwise, that kind of stuff is like, to me, I don't give for them. Yeah, I'm a selfish bastard. I give for me.
You're the living embodiment of why altruism doesn't exist.
Yeah, exactly. No, no, no. No, 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 no. You can't to give that back. You got to keep it because that made me feel good.
Exactly. Well, I think we're gonna wrap up here as we're
Yeah.
coming up on our time. And
Yeah.
another great talk with you. And we'll see you guys next week. We have a Q&A section in the Spotify. So if you guys have any questions, we have answers, or if you have some answers to our questions, shoot us a message on there. Thank you guys for everything. You have any departing words here?
No, my only parting words is if anybody gets on Joe Rogan, you got to throw our name out there, and we'll give you a free coupon to Wendy's.
Yeah, we'll give you a free coupon to Wendy's. It's a free Frosty, valid twice per month for the rest of your life. Yep, we have that
Only
coupon.
between 2 and 4 in the
Yes,
afternoon.
only between 2 and 4.
Right.
Just like the AC guy that comes between noon and 5 p.m. only on Mondays. All
Yes.
right, everybody be easy, and we'll see you next week.
Party on.